do you think, though? Should we do some caroling?
Yes, we should absolutely. I was just debating putting some snow or some very light Christmas music in the back of my video. What do you think? For trending.
Good
It's a
idea.
great idea. Back in a moment, guys and girls.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Boxing 365. Welcome back to the very festive MGM Bland. We have a Christmas tree. Tom's done a little post.
I have, so make sure to check out that post. I'm more interested in the post doing well than this video at this point because I'm
Brilliant.
invested.
Brilliant. So this is only our second instalment of the monthly rewind, which is going to be looking at the cards that have gone on throughout the month. We're going to think about what our favourite card is. We've each picked. We choose our fight of the month, our fighter of the month, whether there's been any upsets. I'm going to check in on the scores, see how we got on against AI this month. Have a little bit of a look back on anything that happened of particular interest.
Well, Paul. So I have two things I want to do before we start the video. No, don't worry. It's nothing big. It's nothing big. So first thing is, can you all let him know in the comments so he doesn't do it again? He looks a fucking idiot with his hood up.
I'm cold.
Okay.
They're the facts.
They're the facts. We are, to be fair, the MGM Bland does lack heating. We have got honestly, for anybody that's got OCD, would hate our media cell down here because it is a collision.
Also, health and safety would shut us down instantly.
I hate to see I'm in round yet. That might have something to do with a couple of things. Secondly, I'd like to apologise to Fabio Ward. So obviously, last month he won the inaugural Fire of the Month, Boxing 365 Fire of the Month for November.
Yeah.
Which obviously people have sort of compared to the Golden Boot, the
Yeah.
Ballon d'Or, and a couple of other major sporting
very
accolades.
prestigious.
Prestigious is not good enough.
No.
It's above that. It's like an MBE, I'd argue. Fabio hasn't got in touch yet to chase me regarding the lack of post, but I'll be honest, that's what I'm waiting for. How can I send you
the
trophy
that's disappeared,
that has vanished without your address? So I'd just like to apologise for any miscommunication between us and Fabio's team.
Yeah.
If you do want to collect your trophy or receive your trophy, get in touch and we'll maybe do something.
You know what, mate? That was very big of you.
Thanks.
You rose above because the kind of person you are, you'd have smashed his trophy up. Is that where it's gone?
Yeah.
All right, brilliant.
But don't worry, Fabio. We have budget, and the budget says we can buy you a new trophy. And whoever wins this month as well, because I believe we have different Fiver of the Months.
I think we do.
But welcome to Monthly Rewind in November.
Stop shouting down that mic.
Sorry.
Poor listeners.
Okay.
Right. Okay, we're going to start with the card of the month.
Okay.
Do you want to go first?
No, I've done enough talking.
That is true. So I picked my card of the month, and I thought it deserved it. First of all, we were there, so for anybody who's following us closely, they'll know which one it is straight away. Second of all, it was a great night, great atmosphere. The actual arena or stadium venue was amazing.
Yeah, it's good.
And it was the return of the tournament format in boxing. So my card of the month was the heist. Like I say, I think it was probably especially special because we were there and part of the media. We got to interview people, go backstage, which was very fun. Got to meet a few famous faces, which was nice as well.
Shout out Adam Smith.
Shout out Adam Smith and the voice of boxing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But for me, it had everything. It was up to tournament style, which we've not seen. It was drama across every single fight. It was probably, admit himself, one of the underdogs out of the 8 that went and actually won it. And outside of the tournament format, we had some great fights on the card as well, which were fantastic. So that won the card of the month for me. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing more. Can't wait for GBM and Izzy to put some more on.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. Credit to GBM and also appreciative for the invite to that event, which we did mention in a previous video. Really good call. But I'll be honest, and this is no disrespect to GBM or Izzy and the card, because it was a phenomenal format. And he said while we were there, they're going to look to do more of it, which I'm super excited for.
He said heavyweights.
I'm going to keep it a secret for the gentlemen and ladies at peeps at home.
He said it live.
Yeah, but he said it to me and you.
But he also said it live.
Yeah, well, look, they weren't there, were they? Anyway, can I have my bit?
Yeah, go on.
All right, then. So I couldn't ignore what was probably the card of the year for me, not just the card of November. which was the Night of the Champions in Riyadh.
Mm.
So obviously we're. So I'll be honest, the reason I very nearly didn't pick it is because we were actually in Paris. Again, the people that follow closely would have noticed that my fight day reminder was in front of some big pink castle. So we didn't actually get to watch the fights live, which is the reason I very, very nearly kind of went, I might pick something different. But I think you'd be ignoring the blatantly obvious if we weren't to mention it between us as a duet. Phenomenal. For anyone that has watched boxing and anyone who got to watch that card, names, world titles. There was 4 world titles, 4 weight classes. Just absolutely phenomenal. Really, really good card. Probably the best ring card, I would argue, so far.
Yeah, I think that's hard to argue against.
A couple of stinkers, aren't they? And the thing is, as well, it wasn't just that top 4. They had Vito Milnicki, who few people I heard criticise him. I thought was really, really good on the undercard. And just generally speaking, a really, really good show. A really good show of boxing at the absolute highest level. David Benavidez came and showed why, even at world level, there's levels. Bam Rodriguez, being Bam Rodriguez, probably the most all-round fighter we've got in world boxing at the minute. Devin Haney sang everyone a boxing version of a lullaby, which, well, this isn't me being critical to Devin, but Jesus, that guy needs to engage a little bit more. Just honestly, absolutely phenomenal from start to finish. And obviously, sorry, I did actually skip over the Abdullah Mason Sam Noakes fight was on there as well, plus a really good undercard, including a couple of super exciting talents. So that, for me, undoubtedly, card of the month.
Well, I'm glad you picked that one. It was definitely a contender for me.
Yeah.
But I felt like that tournament format was special. But yeah, I think, look, again, as with everything on the channel, if you've got a favourite card of the month, if you agree with Tom, if you agree with me, please let us know in the comments, because that's what it's all about, sharing our thoughts on the boxing.
And the great thing is, I think, as well, when it comes to these things, and to this podcast, is through that, it's not about following the media's sort of portrayal and what they put out. So it'd be very easy for us just to go and look at what, I'm not going to name drop any, but what even sort of the major media outlets do, even your sort of your DAZN, Sky Sports, whatever, and go, well, they think that, so we should think that. We work purely off of opinion of our own, and as well, sometimes I'll pick with my heart, sometimes I'll pick with my head, but I think we're always very honest, very transparent, and also consistent with what we say, which I'm, at some point, I don't know if you've read it yet, but there is a point where I'm going to have to do what I did the other week.
Yeah. Confess,
swallow my pride.
Yeah.
Eventually get banned, I think, from the internet for being wrong.
Yeah, maybe. Well, we'll talk about our fight of the month next. So, gone through our card, but this is for our standout fight of the month. And I'll let you go first, because I went first on the card of the month.
Okay, so there was a couple that were really up there for me in the running, but for everything that boxing, casual boxing, general man in the street wants to see, it had everything. It was a world title fight. It generated and created the youngest world champion at present. Had a very gritty Brit out there showing why he belongs at the highest level. And for me, my fight of the month for the month of November is Abdullah Mason versus Sam Noakes. It was brilliant. It was to and fro-in. Abdullah Mason showed incredible maturity. I had my concerns going into that with what we'd seen previously with Abdullah and the level we'd seen him at, but he absolutely dominated. He was the clear winner on the night, and that's nothing against taking away from Sam Noakes' performance. But the fight was competitive throughout. It was a bloodbath. It was just, for me, it's one of them fights, and we've used the term before, where if I could download a fight and show the casual man in the street what boxing is and why we love it, that's one of them fights that you do that, and it had everything, had absolutely everything. I won't talk through my sort of honourable mentions, because I have a sneaky suspicion that my honourable mention, which really did deserve a shout out, is probably the one you've picked.
Okay.
But
well, my fight of the month comes from the most recent weekend, the last weekend in November's boxing, and it wasn't the result I expected, to be honest. Probably
I predicted it.
Tom predicted it. Probably because of a lack of knowledge, probably of the fighter who won.
Yeah, I agree.
But I felt like it had to go to Aaron Bowen and Tom Cowling because I don't think I know I haven't. That was an incredible area title fight.
Crazy.
Area
Crazy.
title fight.
Absolutely.
And I think we sort of said it at the time that when we watched Boston and Fawaz,
Yeah.
we sort of said, man, Fawaz looks like he's above this.
Yeah.
I feel like that was the same, probably for both Bowen and Cowling, to be
Yeah.
honest with you, because that was a really tough clash.
Yeah, it was.
It was great throughout. Obviously, Cowling hurt, down, up, in, out. Defensively, to say he got knocked down, defensively, he was very impressive.
Very, very good.
Bowen put absolutely everything into it. You could tell the corner work for Tom Cowling. I just thought it was incredible, and I think it was, as far as I was concerned, an upset. I was expecting Aaron Bowen to probably win that one, but we did say going in that it was going to be tough. But yeah, for me, that was the fight of the month. Area title scrap, everything left in the ring, and Cowling went and won it, and I thought fair play. It was fantastic.
I think I took a couple of things from that fight, and I think learned a couple of things from that fight. And the first, I say learn, but I think it sort of highlights. I think one of the things was that we enjoy watching Aaron Bowen, so we're both fans of Aaron Bowen. So me predicting that he'll lose is no gauge on him, and him losing is no gauge on himself. However, he's got to learn. He has got to do some learning, and he's got to improve. Because Tom Cowling was very, very good on the night, but if Aaron Bowen is going to stay with someone like a Matchroom, he's got to improve on that performance. And it's not. And don't get me wrong, he worked his arse off, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
But he was so stationary at times, and he'd be stood, he'd stand there, and I appreciate the times in fights where we'll say, you might have to walk through three to land one, you might have to take one to land two. There are times in boxing where that's the case, and again, I can't speak for the part that it's easy for me to say that's never been punched in the face, but Bowen was just too easy to hit at times, and we've said it, and all boxing fans say it, but using your chin as your best form of defence isn't going to get you all the way. Joe Joyce very nearly did it, but there are times. The other thing as well that I'd like to point out is I think we've discovered a really, really good talent in his own right in Tom Cowling. This took him to 17-1, has suffered a loss, but he looked absolutely brilliant, looked fit as a fiddle, really, really sharp. His fundamentals were phenomenal. There were a couple of times in the 8th, 9th, 10th, where we'd sort of realised that Cowling had started to get himself a bit of a lead here, or we believed he had. Obviously, we had a 97, 93 to Bowen, which was criminal, but there was a couple of times where I said to you, he needs to be careful stepping into that pocket. And he kept stepping in, and fair play, but he was stepping into the pocket, and Bowen was throwing good shots, and nothing could land. He was just out of range. Even when he was in range, he was just, honestly, he looked absolutely superb. And again, for an area title fight, mind blowing.
Yeah, I think some of it, like you say, was a bit too easy to hit at times. Maybe he thought that his power was going to be too much. He looked a much bigger man in there.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Maybe he thought his power was going to be too much, and he just thought, I'll just keep eating these because I only need to land a couple, and it's going to work. But especially towards the end of that fight, he was just miss after miss after miss. And I think that was part of the exhaustion. You can't blame him for that. It was absolutely slumming out for 10 rounds. But yeah, I mean, that took my fight of the month. And
just shows, doesn't it, that you don't have to be a world champion to deliver exceptionally good value to boxing fans. Because that, for me, if it wasn't for the fact that I think the Noakes Mason fight was phenomenal, I think in any other month, that would have been a clear winner. Yeah, we've been very fortunate in that.
Right, then it's time to pick our fighter of the month. Now, I'll go first. And he's come up already because he was in your fight of the month.
Okay.
And I did pick Abdullah Mason, purely on the basis that he is now boxing's youngest world champion, current world champion. Only 21 years old.
Baby.
He looks really good. I've seen a few people saying that if he fights others in that division, he's going to have a hard time. But I just tend to think you can't take away from the fact that he went out there. He had an absolutely great war with Sam Noakes, and he's come away a world champion. And he's only 21, and the world is his oyster now.
Yeah.
So for me, yeah, I went with Abdullah Mason. I think he going in, I favoured him slightly, although he'd been hurt before.
Yeah.
I thought he was good enough to win, but I think he proved that he does belong there, and that hopefully he'll be a world champion for a little while.
I think he's got a really bright future, and as long as he can keep his head on his shoulders, I think he's in good hands. Bit of credit to Sam Noakes again, just purely for the fact that it's very easy when boxing, when a fight's finished, to go, well, you know what, Sam wasn't as good as we thought. I think Sam was absolutely as good as I expected Sam to be, and he's shown a lot to his game. Mason was a level above. Yeah. Similar to the Anthony Yarde Benavidez fight, you can be world level, but doesn't mean you're at that elite level, that world class level. And I think it was that sort of event, that sort of night for me.
Absolutely.
But that's credit to Abdullah Mason, who went out there, did exactly what he should have done. He beat a fit, very good, very game Sam Noakes, and he did it well. So my fighter of the month. Yep. So we are going to have to come to a Boxing 365 fighter of the month, and another world champion on the same card. And maybe it's not. I don't think he's biased, but he's too special not to if he's fighting. And that for me is Jesse Van Rodriguez. As he's now known, purely down to me accidentally calling Peter McGrail the Scout, but Van Rodriguez, he's actually now he's from San Diego, but he's now the American Peter McGrail.
Great.
But Van Rodriguez, for me, put on a absolute masterclass. Has everything. When he's boxing, he's a joy to watch. He's enjoying himself. And just honestly, it's pointless. I'm not qualified or eloquent enough to describe Van Rodriguez in the detail that a fighter of that level deserves. So I will justify it no further because I don't think I need to. But Van Rodriguez, whenever this kid fights, he will be my fighter of the month forever because...
What a stoppage. That's all we need to say.
Absolutely phenomenal. And do you know what? I mean, we talk about sometimes our favourite shots in boxing, and it's a bit like for any of the football fans that watch the channel, not for the football, because we're not football, but I've always said, and when we've spoke about it, and I think you agree with me, I'd rather see a stunning assist and a stunning pass than a good goal.
Mm.
And boxing for me is the same in a lot of ways. I love to see the critical knockouts, and obviously that's exactly what that was, but it was the setup. And for anyone who's not seen it, we're not going to play it live. There are copyright trademark laws we're trying not to get sued for. Go and watch it. The setup, it's just absolutely elegant.
Yeah, he was brilliant.
Van Rodriguez, if you also want your trophy, because I've decided that I don't want to pick between Mason and Van because they're fighter of the month for different reasons.
Okay.
I think
so you're overruling me, is what you're saying?
No.
Okay.
No, what I was going to say is that both of them can share their award or buy them their own award each because Mason...
Nah, they're not having one each. The budget doesn't stretch that far.
So just for
clarity, they have to have joint custody of their trophy. And one of them can have it on weekends.
Like Nathan and Benji.
Yeah, exactly like that.
Okay. But anyone who doesn't know Nathan and Benji, you'll probably never know him. So yeah, next.
Our upset of the month. And you can go first on this one.
Do I have to?
Yep. Face the music or the people.
So my upset of the month.
Into the mic. Come on.
I'm in the mic. What do you mean into the camera? I can talk to the camera.
I need you
to talk to the camera or you.
Be nice and close to the mic.
I'm I gotta get the word wrong. I'm procrastinating. My upset of the month is a certain man. Goes by the name of Jamie Chikeva, also known more regularly as Jamie TKV.
Mm.
And I wasn't going to say any more, but you're not going to let me get away with it. So I made a broad comment that Jamie TKV belongs nowhere near British title level. Well, Jamie TKV, you are now the British heavyweight champion. So this is me being as honest as I can be, because I would never do anything other than that. and that is that I don't know how much I can take from the victory, if I'm honest. But you beat the man who was there to beat you. You beat the man with the Olympic pedigree. You look tough. You look fit. You look game. You landed some really good shots. And in fairness to you, in our opinion, I think we're on the same page, is that Clark should have been retired at the end of that 11th round.
Yeah.
So I'm excited, and you've never heard me say this 72 hours ago, 48 hours ago. I'm excited to see what the future holds for TKV because of morbid curiosity to know exactly what he has to offer. And this is just me saying that congratulations, credit where it's due. I'm excited to see where you go next, and hopefully whether that be a Dave Allen fight, a European fight, to see exactly what level you belong at.
I think the thing is, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I thought that TKV was going to win, not at all. I think in the video previously I said that he made it awkward and tricky for David Adelaide when he fought him, and I could see that he might do the same thing, make it awkward and tricky, but it was a lot. It was a lot than just that.
Yeah, it was.
I don't want to go and slander Frazer Clark too much because I love him, but didn't look how I expected. I thought he would look like somebody who had Olympic pedigree, somebody who was above that, and he didn't. And that's a bit of a shame. But I'm sure he'll take his, lick his wounds, come back for more. But I saw some people say that it was like one of the greatest British heavyweight title scraps, and I thought that is doing it far too much justice. It was good. It was a lot of slugging out.
It was a pretty, from a casual watch, it was okay. A pretty low rent affair. And I don't mean that in a critical way. Again, this isn't me backtracking on what I've said. Complete credit to Jamie TKB. He beat the man in front of him. Fraze, I don't know where his game plan was, and if it was a game plan, what the game plan was. For a man that won bronze at the Olympics, where was his jab? Did he go in there? And from what I can see, he went in there, gassed himself out early, thinking maybe he convinced himself he was going to stop Jamie early. Jamie proved that wasn't the case. Jamie's a difficult man to beat. He's awkward, and he proved that again at the weekend. And look, hopefully he gets a shot in a big fight. Now, I appreciate he's now the A-Siders champion, but I think he needs to be on a matchroom bill at Dave Allen. 9,000-10,000 people at Sheffield Arena. I think it's a great fight. And that point, we really learn where TKV sits in this landscape. So, Jamie, credit to you, mate. Jamie, credit to you. Sorry. Great performance. You showed real resilience. I apologise for my slanderous term and words. You are the British heavyweight champion, and that's it. Yeah.
Well, we'll move on now. We'll let you off. And
Jamie will.
And I'll pick what I thought was the upset of the month, and that was Conor Benn.
Okay.
Because going in, Eubank was still the bookie's favourite. Going in, quite a lot of people said Eubank will do it again because he looked so good in the first one against Benn. And even I had changed my mind. I got it completely wrong because in the first fight I thought Benn might do him. This fight I thought, Eubank looked so good that I can't see that being different this time around. So I got it wrong both times. And he went out there and he's put the end on a family rivalry. The Benns have got to win. I hope that is the end of it now. I think it should be. I think it should be the end of that little chapter of British boxing, which is sad to some extent, but people thought it was the end when it was Nigel and Chris Senior. So I think that should be it now. And I think for me, that was the upset of the month. That was it was good to see because I quite like Conor Benn, so I thought glad he won. But it was almost a bit solemn, a bit like, Eubanks looks a bit over the hill, probably because of the weight stuff, I suppose. But he's aged a little bit as well, and I think great win. Never looked like losing in the whole fight. It wasn't particularly like a really entertaining fight to watch. I'm not going to kid myself.
No.
We said earlier about not just sticking with what the biggest event was. I think yeah, it was good. I'm glad he won. That's my upset of the month. Well done, Conor Benn. Hopefully, go and do something now. Something at that world level, which he's got enough pull now that even if people don't think he maybe deserves a world title shot, it'll make its way to him. And I think he's got enough to beat some of those champions. Some particular ones that I know you're not a big fan of.
I'm not going to name anyone. I'm here to know for today only, ladies and gentlemen. I am sitting well and truly on the fence for a little bit, maybe an hour, just purely for the fact that I have a lot to say that's not always right. I also have a lot to say that sometimes is right.
Well,
But
speaking of
Conor Benn has turned down the fight with Lewis Crocodile.
speaking of things that you're not always right about, it is time for our catch up on the score.
Me versus Al.
Boxing 365 versus the AI.
Go on. There we go. So there we go. So for you who don't know, and this might be your first time watching this, when we started this, we decided we wanted to see whether me, with some of Dan's input, had enough boxing knowledge to outwork a computer. Now, last month was the first month we did the recap, the rewind, and we learned that I didn't. I was wrong, and more computer was. Now, we have done the scores on the doors, and I will let Dan talk you through it as he writes the numbers. So, Dan, the moment of truth, please.
Last month, we were down 14-13, lost out by a point. Very close. This month, and we have cut the AI some slack as well. I'm gonna say that from the get-go. One of the cards, I believe it was Parker and Buatsi, I think. The AI only predicted a couple of the fights, whereas we predicted many and got all of them right. Technically, we should have had some extra points, but we thought that's not fair. The AI didn't actually predict them for whatever reason, so we won't count our scores, even though they are genuine scores.
I was fuming, bear in mind, because this would have put us in a really nice spot.
Would have put us in a very good spot. But as of November, we got 19 right, and the AI got 18 right, which means
Tom has beaten the computer in November. But overall, it is 32-32.
You can check my maths, but I can promise you it was 14-13, 19 for us, 18 for the AI, 32-32. Sorry, 13-14, just so people don't get confused.
I believe.
So we're on our squits.
We are coming into December, actually, do you know what? Brings us really nicely to that final topic, which is catching up on some of the big news, having a bit of a conversation about what's to come.
Firstly, though, we are in a bit of jeopardy with the AI, aren't we? Because
no, we fixed it. I fixed it earlier. He's working now. He's talking to me again.
Yeah, but for the first two events of December, we ain't got nothing.
Yeah.
Well, no, my one.
No.
One prediction, I think it did.
Did it do one prediction?
I think it did. Yeah, I think it did one.
But then in the second video, we didn't predict anything. But anyway, the AI basically decided it didn't want to predict fights anymore. It was on a complete combat ban. Decided weren't playing, not doing predictions, and that was it. So I'll be honest, if anything, I think that should be a forfeited result, 3-0 for each week of predictions.
That would be.
Can't help it. He's not turned up. Yeah, or she, it, AI.
Yeah, but look, we'll worry about that when we get to next month. If you are interested in those videos, I'll pop a card up here for you to check out the videos that we're talking about. It was Cruz Roach as one of them, and Masood McGrail as the other. I'll pop some links to those, or of course you can just head over to the main part of the channel. You can subscribe, you can like, you can hit the notification button. I don't think we ever tell people to do that. Yeah. And you can look at some of the older videos, see what we thought. We don't just have the next card in the deck either. We do have a few other things where we look at prospects and stuff like that. So do go and check that out.
And we've got some super exciting stuff coming for 2026 as well. Some really new concepts.
Oh yeah.
We're going to do a naked podcast, which we've discussed just now.
I've actually seen, I think I said it to you, something called chess boxing. So if the people would like to research chess boxing and let us know whether you want me and Tom to have a chess boxing match, then please do feel free to drop that in the comments.
Also,
although if it's Roy that tells us, Roy, no mate,
not for it, mate.
No, not for you, Roy.
Not for you, Roy. Roy
Roy just wants to see Tom get beat up. No, sorry, Roy.
No, Roy. Also, as well, on the points of ideas, and I've mentioned it to Dan a few times, but he doesn't let me. If you would like me to be doing my fight predictions while gardening, let us know in the comments.
This is the boxing channel, though.
If I'm doing boxing predictions while doing my gardening, I thought it was nice. It's not a chess channel.
None of you can see the state of his garden, but he clearly doesn't do a lot of gardening.
That is absolute channel. So, coming into December, what news have we got, Captain?
What we've heard through November, what's happened, some of the things that have happened outside of actual boxing matches.
Yes, fights.
Jake Paul versus AJ. Now, obviously, we've already done a video on this. So...
Check that out. It's up here.
Oh, why have you done that? Now I've got to put it in the video.
Yeah, it's there.
Okay, it's there. We have already talked about this, so we won't go into it in too much depth, but the problem child has somehow got himself in a fight with AJ. AJ is probably going to flatten him. I saw a video today where Alexander Usyk, in his broken English, said,
I am feeling
Rolls Royce, Fiat. And he was comparing AJ and Jake Paul. And I thought, actually, absolutely right. He said, Olympian, YouTuber.
Why are you doing his accent?
I can't.
No.
I would never disrespect Alexander Usyk. I like that guy.
I like that guy as well. All I ever think of is when he's running down the beach. Do you know what he's doing? Before the Daddy.
Well, we'll stick with Usyk because there are a few things that have come out with Usyk, actually. He vacated one of his belts.
WBO.
And Wardley is now full champion.
But he did say, not interested. I am the official October fighter for Boxing 365. So
keep your belt.
Stick your
I'm just waiting for my trophy from Boxing 365.
Correct.
Usyk since has said, everybody keeps telling me I'm no longer undisputed. It's temporary. So maybe coming for a fight with Fabio, maybe waiting. We've heard that maybe Fabio fights someone like an AJ. There'll be a clash somewhere out there for all the belts. And Usyk called out or said that he would like to fight Deontay Wilder, which felt very out of pocket.
I don't know why. This is Usyk, though, isn't it?
Do you think he's taking the mick?
No,
I don't think he is. I'm just saying that.
I don't know. I don't think he is. I think he's looking at his resume and he's thinking, right, the biggest names in heavyweight boxing over the last 10 years, 15 years, 10, 15 years, have been Fury, AJ, and Wilder. Dubois a bit. He's gone out there and demolished them through in the grand scheme of things, beat all three comfortably.
Yeah.
He probably just wants to tick that box. And the thing is, Wilder's coming off a win now. I think he needs another before he can step in anywhere near the Usyk level. I think he needs to prove himself at the not necessarily the elite, but he needs a top 10 opponent on his record. But yeah, it's. Would I watch it? Yeah,
of course I would. I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, and you know what? If Wilder somehow has found his power again, that has seemingly been missing since 2019, it's an interesting fight.
Yeah,
but he hasn't found it. I don't think. So yeah, it's an interesting one. Usyk, to be fair though, in all fairness to him, and this is me playing devil's advocate a little bit, Usyk deserves an easy fight, and that's no criticism to Wilder of old. But look at his resume; he has fought elite. Just over and over. I mean, his last, you could argue, easy fight was Derek Chisora.
That was one of his toughest fights.
Derek's not an easy fight for anybody. No. So yeah, for me, it's interesting.
Yeah,
I'd like to see Derek Chisora versus Wilder, and the winner, fine, you can have your shot at Usyk because Derek's number one with the IBF.
Yeah,
so it's a perfect opportunity. But I think Derek flattens him.
Look, we'll do a very quick few other points. So we had the return of the tournament format with GBM, which we talked about earlier, so I won't go too much back into that, but
Thanks,
hopefully
Izzy.
We'll see some more of that. Ben Shalom had his first event with the BBC. Regardless of result, I think one thing
we need to talk about commentating.
One thing that I would say before we say that is that I had family and friends who never talk about the boxing.
Yeah.
Who asked me because they know I'm interested in the boxing.
Yeah.
if I was watching the boxing this weekend
It was on BBC.
because it was on the BBC. And I thought straight away that maybe is what Ben Shalom is talking about.
Can I say two things? And I will make it quick, I promise.
Mm.
Okay.
It's got to be quick.
Yeah,
because I'm bored of it.
Thing number one, right, is the BBC being back involved in boxing is a great thing. And I have got no issues with it being on free-to-air TV, and it opens it up to the guy in the armchair at home that's flicking through the TV and goes, oh, boxing's on. Brilliant. Because it's not on free-to-air terrestrial TV enough, right? Fantastic. My issue is that Ben Shalom, you cannot, realistically, like Wasserman, you cannot maintain this competitive, I'm going to be a Matchroom or a Queensbury when you've got that broadcast deal. And that's nothing against the being on the BBC. It's just do what the BBC will allow you to do. Build the household names, the superstars. You've got two in Fran Hennessy and Adam Azeem that the fans love. Callum Simpson's another brilliant example. And I said this on TalkSport earlier, I appreciate that BBC's production team have been out of the sport for just over 20 years. Production was poor. And bear in mind, I appreciate people are going to go, well, our production's no better. No, fine, right?
We're not the BBC, mate.
Take that on the chin. But even silly stuff like the commentary team, mate. The main punch-by-punch commentator talks too much.
Yeah.
And what he was talking was king drivel. Like, to the point that put me and you on the mics, and it would have been a better showing. The guy had, honestly, this isn't me having a rant about TKB again, but honest to God, for anyone who watched it that watches mainstream boxing, would have gone, who the is this gimp? Like, honestly, it was appalling. But other than that, great to see you back on the BBC. Ben Shalom's out of hiding, and that's it. Good.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. We'll move on from November a little bit, looking into the future. We've seen the announcement of Teofimo Lopez, Shakur Stevenson. Oh, God, that is a huge fight. Huge fight.
Because I don't want to cover it too much, because we will do more, obviously, on this slide. Who's your early prediction?
I think Shakur Stevenson is in my top 10 pound for pound. Teofimo was probably in my top 15. So you would suggest that Shakur is, based on what I've said, it would be better.
Smells make fights.
Good, and I just think it's a tough one. I would favour Shakur slightly, but it is a tough one.
I would agree. I would lean to Shakur purely on.
But that's a very close
purely on skill set, but it's very, very close. At some point, to Shakur, size is going to have to come into it. This would be a fourth weight, but Teo is very, very special in his own right, and the winner of this fight cements themselves in that top 10 pound for pound for the foreseeable. Absolutely phenomenal. And there's some huge, huge rumoured fights, which I'm not going to mention in case I make us look silly, for the undercard of that in January, on January 31st.
Yeah.
Absolute banger. One thing I do want to mention for December, which I think is super, super exciting, is Matchroom back off to Africa for the first time, I think, in however many millenniums.
Yeah.
Ghana, Accra, headlined by our guy, Craig Richards, against another one of our guys who we've loved and followed for a long, long time, in Dan Aziz, whose career's dropped off a little bit. Interesting. Bit of a fight of the Nurley men, you could argue. And the rumour has it is that one of those two will be fighting Ben Whittaker in early 26.
Yeah, that'd be a great fight. We've got Leo Atang going out there as well.
We have
on the card, so that's
love
good.
Leo in his left up.
Yeah, that's a nice little undercard out there. I look forward to seeing that. I think the last time we saw Boxing Africa, we had the bizarre chairman of African boxing in the ring making fights
restart.
But I don't think it'll be like that. And even if it is, you know what? I'm here for it. I can't wait to see it. Sticking with Matchroom though, before we do sign off, 4 big events that were announced for next year. I'll forget them all.
Lee
now.
Wood, Josh Warrington.
Was
You've got Josh Kelly, Murtazaliev. Yep. You have got Navarrete, Sugar Nunes, which for me out of the 4 is the best fight. It's absolutely phenomenal. Unification at super featherweight. Sugar Nunes, Navarrete, 2 of the hardest men in boxing. Absolutely super excited to see that. And then you've also got the 6-0 superstar Andy Cruz fighting Raymond Murataya, which, again, for the casuals, you still won't know who Andy Cruz is. Andy Cruz is one of them fighters that has a bit of everything. He's a bit of a... It's like when Lomachenko and Usyk came out of the amateurs. into the pros. It's super, super
Yeah.
exciting. And this would make him a 7-0 world champion and just ready for massive things for the rest of 2026. So yeah, super, super exciting. Final shout out before we wrap up, just on the Matchroom side, sorry. 17th of December, a Wednesday. Joe Howarth, Giorgio Visioli, Joe Howarth, however you want to announce it. Superb fight for both guys. Winner onto some really, really, really big fights for 26. Most likely a British title mid 26. So yeah, December's going to be amazing. January's going to be even better. And that's me.
Yeah, there's plenty coming up in December, and as always, we'll keep you informed before the fights happen. We'll release our next card on the deck. We don't get time off at Christmas, so there you go.
No.
I get time off. You've got to learn how to do all the editing and clipping.
You keep doing the editing.
Right.
I'll just keep doing videos and sharing stuff.
Perfect. Thanks.
And on that.
Right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Please, as we said, do drop your thoughts in the comment. Let us know if you like the monthly rewind. It takes us a little bit of time just to sit and think about what we've seen over the month, and we'll keep doing it as long as you keep watching it. Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys.